Who gon' wants 200, baby?
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at. Let's get it started, guys. Let's go. Welcome in. Trade the pool, guys. Sorry for being a little late there. Not really necessarily late to the day, but if you guys didn't catch my Trade TV segment, please, guys, go check it out whenever you get a chance. I gave some great information there, and I'm going to continue being there on Tuesdays. So if I'm a little late to the show, I am sorry, guys. We will be starting up at 9 a.m. on Tuesdays only. That's only day I'll be away from you guys, at least to start the show, giving that community a little bit of some information, right? Some trade ideas. We'll be looking at different trade ideas right here, of course. We'll get right towards the market. There's a lot to take a look at. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of earnings out there, and the market was coming down, and it was bleeding, guys, bleeding down. So we'll see what happens. Another VIX trade. Yesterday's trade was a good one. I still made green on that, but didn't hold on as good as I could have, right? I was doing like kind of a trailing stop. I went a little bit closer probably than I should have, and that cut me out of the position. So what I'm going to start using is something that I'll teach you guys today. To stick around. Using moving averages to spot trends and reversals. Just might be about that, guys. Hit the like button. Let's get it started. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at what's trading out there right now and what's moving. Of course, we can go ahead and take a look. This is going to be one of my top on the playbook today. Is going to be Wells Fargo to the short side. I talked about this on Trader TV. It's already kind of falling, right? So it's not like I was picking this at like 6 a.m. So it hasn't dropped too much though already. I'm going to be watching to see, this rounding action here could easily come right back towards like 62. So that's kind of the level that I'd be looking at today towards it to come back towards 62. It's not a crazy cut down, but we'll start to look for the financials really to show some weakness today. If the financials can show that weakness, we'll see it also in the XLF, right? The overall ETF, right? Keep an eye on that. I talked about that yesterday, and look at the action that happened. We talked about that before the open. The stock was up here at 47.60s. Would it come back into that box? Cha-ching, we got our answer. It went right into that box. So, hey, not a bad trade there just itself, right? I mean, 47.60s down now towards 47 on the intraday yesterday. That could have been a trade within itself. We'll see how others move, right? I talked about it. Will Goldman suck yesterday? And it sucked, man. I should have traded that one. That was an 11-point collapse there in Goldman Sachs. I need to trade Goldman Sachs a little bit more. I traded well. The only thing is it's super scary when you first get in because it has a big spread, and you got to be able to deal with that at first, right? Let's just be honest. When you first get in on a big spread, you're always like, man, this is a little scary, even with the littlest size, right? So that's the problem when you're dealing with Goldman Sachs. You got to be able to kind of size into the position slowly. Like for me, let's say 60 shares is a monster position there, even in Goldman Sachs. 80 shares is a monster position. So I'm looking to get that up slowly, right? Maybe it's 10 shares. Maybe it's 20 shares per entry, right? That's so important. That's what can help you deal with a spread like Goldman Sachs. We'll take a look at the market out there today. Of course, GM leading the action out there with the autos. And this is going to maybe start the Tesla run, guys. I feel like Tesla, I know that it cut me out yesterday. It cut me out on the swing, and I'm going to be watching for it today to see if it can recover. And the big part of this is GM, right? So let's see if GM leads and maybe Tesla follows. I think Tesla will lead and GM will follow. But right now, GM is doing that move, right? Of course, they had earnings, really good earnings today. Let's talk about their numbers. Let me go ahead and bring that up. Just give me a second here. Just scrolling up here. Okay, of course, General Motors impressed investors with strong Q3 24 earnings beat, reporting an EPS of $2.96, exceeding the $2.43 estimate. Revenues of $48.76 billion, also beating the expectation of $44.9 billion. GM raised its full-year outlook and now expects EBITDA between $14 million and $15 million, up from $13 billion and up to $15 billion. Additionally, the company also raised its automotive free cash flow forecast to $12.5 billion to $13.5 billion, up from $9.5 billion to $11.5. So pretty good move there. This is definitely helping it in the pre-market here. We'll continue to watch to see what happens, but GM definitely trading higher, and this could have Tesla moving. So I would keep my eyes open. Of course, you guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. Do me the favor, guys. Smash the like. Let's keep it going, and put a 1 if you guys think today will be bullish. Put a 2 if you guys think today will be a bearish day. It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that much. I'm looking around. I'm trying to find some good trades. And of course, guys, I actually closed the positive trade in that cow. Yeah, I got this last little run, guys. I held on all day long in the limited account. I had literally I had like pennies to kind of risk off of there. And then finally it goes and spikes, and I sold it at 3 right on that spike, guys. It ended up going to 304, 306, but I got out there at 3, made a nice like 250 on that yesterday in this limited account. So, hey, not doing too bad right now, guys. We can talk a little bit more about the account, but that's at 339. Of course, that's the limited account that you guys could be going after right now. Let me know in the chat. Do you guys have this limited account? Look at that. Profit target of 1350. I got 25% of it already. So looking to keep going after it, guys. I'm gonna keep taking some of the smaller names with these as it's a smaller size on the buying power. We'll see what happens. Maybe I take the VIXI today, especially the way that the market is trading, right? Right now, the market is kind of in a doozy, right? I mean, it just kind of collapsed. And yesterday it collapsed towards the close, right? Towards our end of our stream. And that was a quick collapse down there towards 12. And then it reversed right back up, but then collapses overnight. And that's where it gets difficult, because the collapsing overnight, what does that do? That doesn't give the opportunities for the shorters, right? Like if the market was at like 583s today, it would look a lot better than 580s for shorts. So I think that you got to be careful a little bit on both sides today, because we could have a whipsaw back up for the first hour and then come back down. So it doesn't mean that it's going to be just straight down action, right? Now, there's certain areas you can look for some more decline in other areas. GE is taking a whack in today. Of course, with their earnings, we can talk a little bit about their numbers, but definitely GE taking a big hit on the downside, and this is not going to be looking good. Of course, GE reported Q3 adjusted EPS of $1.15, slightly beating the estimate of $1.14. The adjusted revenues here of $8.9 billion, and that's not even that bad, right? I mean, the full year 24 company expects adjusted revenue growth in the high single digits to adjusted EPS between $4.20 and $4.35, aligning with the consensus of $4.25. So it really wasn't the worst report, but they took a big hit there. A lot of people are saying this has to do with more kind of what could happen because of Boeing's situation, and maybe that's affecting a little bit of GE today. Definitely taking a quick pullback towards support. We'll see if it's able to catch support. Now, there was other areas in the industrials that did well, and now they're taking a beating. So this is interesting, guys. I was waiting to see Lockheed Martin. It was starting to move up there to 620s. Now it's taking the hit. This doesn't make me feel good about my swing trade, guys. I'm still in Deere on the swing trade, but probably going to be cutting out here towards the open, as that's going to ruin that move. And yesterday, I got the move to 410, 410.73s. It had the breakout attempt. It just kind of failed. And that's how it can go sometimes. So definitely Deere slowing down there. Tells me watch out for Picard moving back. We'll see what happens there. You can see Picard already down to 105 from 110, right? I talked about pullbacks to this trend line makes sense. I might get an opportunity to get it back at 100. So we'll see what happens there. And Picard, quick pullback, tells me Cat could break the support. So, hey, be careful. The Cat's getting put back into the hat. As you guys see it here, it had 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts to try to get towards that 400. Now failing on the downside, could be coming towards the next support, 380s. There's a little gap here to fill into the 370s. So watch out there. on Caterpillar. All right, RTX also reporting, and that's probably taking a hit too. Ooh, this one's on the upside? That's interesting. We'll see if this can hold on. This did do a wick down, though. Kind of a fake out to the downside and then recovered. So it's not all bad in aerospace and defense today, but something to watch as that will be affecting XLI. Of course, keep your eyes to see if the industrials take a pullback today. There have been a hot space, but if you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts to try to get through that high up there towards 139.70s. Can't do it. Pull back to support. It happens all the time, guys. The rule of 3 is something I look for all the time. And it's not a guarantee, but it tells me that at least an approach to support could happen, and that could be a trade within itself, right? So we'll see what happens here in the spiders. Can they get back there towards XLI? Can they get back there towards the 139? It's pulling back. I could see a pullback coming right back towards the prior resistance being over here in this spot, 135.92. So you could see a little bit of some downside in the industrial space. Financial services, I'm definitely calling that turnaround. I'll continue to call it on the downside. We'll see if Wells Fargo's breaks down there. Basic materials was hot, took a little bit of a step back yesterday, but today, gold looking like it wants to continue. AG, silver, took a little bit of an up move yesterday, so I'm still looking for a little bit of a pullback, maybe potentially back towards 730s, $7, but this is still looking hot as of late. Silver and gold, basic materials overall, looking good. Now, I did see Nucor did take a hit on their earnings, and that's a steel play. So be careful with this one, and be careful with some steel today. You could see a little bit of some decline there, and you're seeing a little weakness in steel dynamics. So I'd be a little bit careful in those names today as you're seeing some weakness by the leader in Nucor. All right, we'll see what some other ones are bringing in here. It's good to catch you guys in the chat. What's going on? How are we doing out there, guys? BIVI is what we should be talking about. Definitely monster move. GNPX, Horizon. Those are all on the radar. We'll take a look at some of those, right? A little late. Oh, man, you know how it is. You should learn how to trade options, said Vic G. Tell you the truth, Vic, I've tried it, man. Your boy Money Mitch can't do it. You got to admit what you can do in life, and you got to admit what you can't do in life. I tried the option game, and maybe I just needed to go further into it, understanding, but I was trying like complex strategies, right? Not like naked calls, naked, puts, just like long call, right? Now, that's not what I was trying. I was trying more strategies like strangles and straddles, right? Put covers and things like that, calendar spreads, things that I was mixing in. That was back when, I'd be watching like Tasty Trade. I was in school. I was in finance at UCF. If you guys don't know, shout out to the Knights out there. And I was learning. I was in advanced derivatives courses, right? I learned how to actually do the math for the Greeks so that you could understand, theta decay and things like that, right? And what really makes sense in options is once you can understand the pricing of options, that can help you. But even then, I'm back into equities, man. It's just more my game. Simple. It's buy, sell. It's going against what? It's not going against that spread action that you get in the option games. I think the option games are not bad. It's really good for leverage when a position's working, or maybe to hedge my bets when I have a good swing trade, right? So let's say I have a good swing trade on the long side, but I really don't want to get out of it. Don't want to take the money and run, but I think it's going to have a long pullback here. Well, like let's say Palantir, for instance, right? Well, then I can go into the option market, maybe play a short in maybe 2 weeks out, not expiration, 3 weeks out in expiration, play that short, right? And then look for what? And then look to sell that and continue with my equity, sell that, use that money that I made in the option short, go back to the equity, and if anything, long it some more, right? And so that's how you can go about it, different ways. I mean, options are interesting, but they're just not for me. You got to find what's for you, right? That's what it's all about. How we doing out there? I could not load charts like GS. You having some issues there, Steve B? Let me know. Reach out to, of course, our customer service team. Everybody's on the desk working hard. So if you're having some issues with some charts, I know there have been some issues. I expect some improvements today. Let's see what happens, guys. I use multiple charting services. I use multiple platforms. Always have tools in the tool belt. All right, let's keep it going. We'll take a look at the action. 2 for the downside. All right, what do you guys think? Downside or upside today? 1 for upside, 2 for downside. No candles on RTX. Can't trade it. Oh, man. I see there's some issues out there, guys. Let me see on RTX if I get some information. All right. I have some information. It doesn't seem like it's skipping too much for me, but it could just be my system, right? Mine's working there. I can tell you guys, but hey, just make sure that you have an opportunity to use a different charting service also. There's some free ones that you can use on the side, right? I think even Thinkorswim is still free if you use kind of different kind of methods, or use one of our partners, right? Have you guys used your partners? You know, I've used all my partners' opportunities, so that's one thing that, you know, I can't do now. But I want you guys to go ahead and do so. So, of course, you guys know where that is, right? I don't know if you guys have taken a look at that, but definitely take a look into your account, right? I'll show you guys my account. I hope no one hacks my account, but here's the new one, right? Here's the new one, guys, and you guys can see it. I'm down 48. Max loss is at 3,900, right? But go to the partners, right? And check out the partners, right? I only have TradingView left, but there's other ones. There was TrendSpider, right? There was Trade Ideas, and all those have charting too. So that's one way to take a look into it, right? All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's keep it moving. Let's go ahead. Let's see what else we got. Should reinstall the software. I don't think that's what it is. I think it has to do with some data issues. But I'm going to go ahead and check in, see if I can get you guys at least an answer on that situation. Okay. All right. FJF, what's going on? Good morning to you. Steph said HIHO. Let's take a look at some of these smaller names, and then we'll go to some of the bigger names before the bell here. It's 9:25. We only got about 5 minutes before the bell. HIHO looks interesting here. Not bad. 250, nice pullback. Got an up there towards 350. I like the pullback opportunity here. Does make sense. What do we got? We got one bottoming. I'm going to call this one bottom, two bottoms, three bottoms, four bottoms kind of holding in there. So as long as it doesn't break the 237s, it looks interesting for me there. It could still go back to that level. So understanding that is going to be important. Got to look for the pop above the 250 here. But hey, let's get the smaller account ready to rock and roll here. We might take a shot here on HIHO right before the market here. It's setting up here, getting a little bit of a move already. And you can see this trend line comes into play here. At some point in the day, I'm expecting a push back into this kind of 260 spot. So let's see what happens there. See what can work out. And if you look on the 15-minute, this looks a little cleaner. It looks like a really nice hold of that support down there towards the 236. Now we just need this to go green candle on the 15-minute. Let's see if we can get it here right before the open. And at 9:30, we'll get a new candle. Looking for it to be around the 270s. That could be an interesting area for a takeoff through 3. We'll see what happens there in Highway Holdings Limited. It's a metal fabrication name. We also take a look at the MACD. The MACD is ready to cross there. We'll see if it gets moving. GNPX. Let's take a look at that one. GNPX trying to get back there towards the 350s, and this is definitely one to keep an eye out for. This one's been hot all morning, and I've talked about these, right? And I talked about them on Trader TV. I even got asked about the small cap names. I talked about drug, right? I talked about different names. GNPX is one that's moving right now, but don't forget, guys, is the market starts to break down. I think these could start coming back down, crashing. But right now, I'm even seeing one out there that is a known runner. Kodak Sciences, guys. KOD. Be careful out there, guys. Oh, my God. This thing got 500,000 shares as of late. And trust me, This thing is a known pump and dump. I don't care what anyone says. Kodak Sciences can come back to me because Kodak was the company, the camera company, right? And then they switched to a biotech. I don't know what's going on there, but KOD, guys, starting to get going. I'd get this one on the radar. GNPX, of course, already up there, already has gone a little bit too high for me. That's one move. That's two moves. That's three moves. Maybe you get a fourth blow off, but after that, I don't see too much more past four. But that could always change, right? This could be in a little bit more of an extension run on a 1 hour basis. This could just be one move, and the second move is starting to line up here. So looking to see if this trend line plays out the same way it played out here, right? Similar patterns. We talked about this yesterday. With penny stocks especially, look for the ones that try to play a similar pattern, because if they play a similar pattern, you can just look to repeat that pattern in the action, right? And so if I look a little bit closer on the 15-minute this morning, you had this kind of trend line also approach, right? And so you can see the trend lines seem to be a nice approach here for GNPX. We'll see if it gets through this trend line here at 357 and 360. All right, let's go ahead. What's up out there? You're confusing Kodak. Did I get those two wrong, Day Trade Tony? I know you would know. Two different companies. All right. You caught me on that one. I thought it was that famous one, man. Day Trade Tony, you know it, man. I'm sure you know it. Oh, good Lord. These biotechs, man. There's so many of them, right? Let's be honest. I can't get married to any of these positions because I don't know about biotechs, man. And if you think about them, man, there's so many that come up and down. If we think about how many of the small caps and the runners really come from biotech, it'd really be impressive. Now, one thing that I'm seeing jumping this morning, and you got to keep an eye out for it, guys. I heard more and more mentions on Bloomberg about shipping costs and how shippers are doing well. Well, Zim, you've seen that take off, right? That's the best name, I think, right now. But I'm looking to see if some other ones start to take part in the rally, like Starbuck and some other names. We'll see what happens. Guys, today, big day for the SPY. Will we get the up move or the down move here out the gates? Let's go, trading team. Market's open. Stay safe out there, guys. Let's go, guys. All right, guys. Let's see what we can come up with today. All right, let's go. First action in the SPY to the upside here, and we'll see if it's able to hold. But names that I'll be looking for upside action, names that I like. We'll see if Tesla can make an up move here. First move down out the gates there for Tesla. Not a good sign there for GM. We'll see what happens with GM. Can it hold with Tesla? Can GM be green with Tesla red? That will be really impressive to me. I don't think I'll expect that. All right, guys, Tesla on the 200 EMA daily. We'll keep an eye on it. Logi looks good. Ooh, Logitech. I know it had its earnings. How is that doing? Nice little move there on the 83s. This is down, though, big, guys. And it's just a destruction. That's a tough chart because it was looking really good at that 92. If I don't look at today's candle, I would see this as bullish also. But today's candle wipes out all that. That's where it could be an undercut and rally, but man, it's really hard to see that because in between here and to like pretty much where we are at right now, it looked bullish. It looked good. Looked good for a breakout above these highs, right? It was pushing into that 90. That's a crazy stuff. All right, Deer, I'm sure got me out there. Probably cut me out here. We'll see what happens. Let me take a look at the swing, see if I got cut out there. Still in it right now. So we'll look to see if I'm able to kind of battle out of there. Deer, it's one that I definitely have right now. We'll see what happens there. Right now, I'm seeing the SPY now take a move to the downside. VIX is starting to set up here. Do I go for the quick move here? That's one thing I'll be thinking about. But we've already had a little bit of a gap, so we got to keep an eye out here. We'll see what happens on the VXX. Will we get a hard down move? Out the gates, guys, there's only two things in the green: energy and financial services. I think financial services go red, so this is not looking good right now. We'll see if technology can make its move back, but technology is showing some downside out the gates here. We'll see what happens on the daily. I'll look for what industries are getting hit the hardest right now. Computer systems. So maybe Dell showing some weakness right now. And you can see it 124 to 123 really quickly. So Dell taking a big hit there. So that's going to be some weakness in some Qs, right? The Qs coming down a little bit there. Will they actually break to the downside? I'd keep an eye on an Apple, right? Apple's on the downside now. After it was just looking for a new all high, it's definitely on the pullback. We'll look for the 9 EMA, maybe back down to even 230. So this looks like a little bit of a downturn right here. I'm going to get ready to go ahead and take some trades in the main account here, maybe along into the VXX here. So especially we're seeing some downside action. SPY trying to recover here. We'll see what happens. I'm watching the Qs especially too to see if I can get some kind of push and then rejection. A good rejection area could be the actual push to the upside, the 493s, and then a breakdown. But that's exactly what we just went above. Let's see if we go a little bit higher towards the 493.50. That was a green area for me yesterday. It's struggling right now. Let's see if the VXX starts to take off here. All right, downside coming in for the VXX just right off of that. I'll look to see what happens in the Qs. I'm watching GM, names like that. NVIDIA red off the gates there. AMD, big red off the gates there. GM, though, holding in, guys. Nice push to 51.30s from 50.20s. So GM, not a bad name. All right, guys, you guys out there, keep throwing up some stocks in the chat so I keep seeing what's moving, especially if you guys see some of those small names moving. I'll be watching around. GNPX did go up there to that 370. I'm watching it right now. It's trying to make moves out there, guys. All right. My 5-minute charts are working a little bit better than my 1-minute chart. I will say that. So that's one thing to think about. But looking right now, VXX starting to recover there. And the SPY still looking kind of weak here. Watching the Qs. All right. There you go. I'm seeing the VXX start to move to the upside here. Q's struggling around that 493 area, now heading to the downside a little bit here. So watch out, guys. All right, now showing a little bit of some strength. So I think we could get at least an attempt towards that 493.50s, but I'm really watching the SPY also here. Everything's pretty weak out the gates here. There's still a lot of red, but it's not deep red. It's just small red. What's bigger red? Industrials. I talked about how that could pull back today. It's looking pretty tough there. So like industrial names like even GE, of course, taking a big beating. We'll see if it can come back today. Basic materials are also pulling back. Steel, of course, leading the downside action there. Nucor, the leader, putting it out there that we could see a little bit of a pullback. Look at Cleveland Cliff. Steel Dynamics definitely taking a beating. Already down $2 there. So definitely could see some more weakness there. Cleveland Cliff down about 20 cents there. Nucor continuing the downside action. Steel Dynamics, another one. STLD. You see they're all down. This is why I pay attention to industries versus sectors and industries versus stocks themselves, right? If you tell me what the industry is going to do or the sector, that's definitely going to help. Here's Tesla coming back for the ramp up. So let's see if the Qs can finally make the move. I've talked about how Tesla could follow GM. GM is strong right now, so maybe Tesla starts to follow, right? I mean, hey, that could happen. It doesn't happen often, but when there's news, that could be the reason why we get that kind of push. 217's already moving here for Tesla here. I'm thinking about taking a trade here on Tesla. But of course, Tesla's the hardest trade I think there is to make a lot of the times. So I'm looking for a slight dip towards 217 here to risk off the bottom of this candle, 216.81s. Let's see if we get a slight dip here towards the 217s. GM just going higher and higher. Tesla could just take off here. Want a 217 pullback, but I'm not getting it here, guys. I just got that right there at this 216.81. So I'm looking for a slight pullback into at least the 9 EMA. So pullbacks to the 9 EMA seem to make sense here. Let's see what happens in Tesla. Can it recover? Of course, it's stuck in between this. It just did a fake out to the downside between that 216.70s. Let's see if it gets back above 218s. That's the real level to where it starts to recover here. And that's right above it. So Tesla looking good with GM's move. GM to 51.56. That could actually bring Ford up today, guys. I don't like Ford, but the truth is at the end of the day, if one stock or two stocks start moving in the industry, they start to raise the tide, especially if they're the big boys. Tesla there making a move there now towards 216.50s. Looks decent there. The Q's starting to climb back above the 493s, so not looking too bad on that action. Let's see what happens here. Will it get another takedown attempt? It seems like it. The VIX setting up here for the move here. We'll see what happens. I mean, definitely could come right back down. The SPY is weaker than the Qs. The Qs are trying to come back. And if I look at what's leading to the upside, it's technology. So I can clearly see that right on my screen, right? Let's see what happens today. Fun moving out there. Oh, you're looking at the funster. All right, well, we'll see what happens with that. I'm going to keep looking at some different charts out there from some smaller names. What's a takeout move today is AMD. That's getting wiped out right now, guys. So that's actually a pretty strong sign to me for downside action here. I might take a shot here as we're getting some bottoming in the VXX. Qs could start to come down, but the Qs just made a push there towards that 493.50 area. That's going to be the next area where I'm watching right now. That could determine this trade right here. So I'm watching the Qs to see what happens into that area as you start to climb back into the 493, 494 spot. That's kind of resistance that could start to act as resistance here. We'll see what happens. 15 minutes, you can see it on the 15-minute chart, right? And so that's going to help us. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. Try to keep in the 5-minute chart versus the 1 minute. AMD's downside action move. Big hit down there to the 153s. So that was a big whacking there. Tesla back towards that 217, back towards it. So getting that opportunity if I want to take the shot. The Qs are going to the upside here. So I just got to determine if the Qs are going to wipe out move or not. Since we were so bearish this morning, I'm going to actually look to grab Tesla here. I'm going to take a shot on Tesla here. All right, guys, just longed it right there, guys. Took 100 shares at 26.85. Looking for 217 recovery, and I can take another 100. There's 217 recovery. Let's see it. It went back into the 90s here, just keeping a very close eye on it. Now going towards Tesla and got to focus on this. Let's go ahead. Let's see what happens. Nice little 217 starting to recover. Got to know where my risk is, right? Down towards the bottom, or that last 5-minute candle is about 55 right now. That's where I'm going to be risking at. We'll see if it starts to come back down there. But right now, looking to see if it can start going above that 217. That's first action here off the 217s. Qs need to continue going. It did run into a little bit of a high here. I'll show you guys it as I pull it in. You guys see right here, this 493.60s. I had it as a green spot here, looking to see if that can continue. That's yesterday's price action. That's not necessarily today's, but that's a good level that it's respecting that resistance. Now let's see if it pushes through that towards the 494s. That's the breakdown on the VIX. If this comes back down below 492s, that's VIX back up. SPY choppy right now. Q's kind of leading the action because technology is leading right now. So technology just went break even, and I'm watching it right here. You guys can keep a watch on it here at the top on my screen too. So there's Tesla. I'm in the green right now. I do want to add, but I need to see the Qs kind of play in here and make that break to the upside. And also would watch the SPY to see if it makes a move. And I'm keeping an eye on both of them, right? Also watching the VIX and watching some of the smaller names. If you guys see any of those smaller ones move, you guys can always yell at me and let me know, hey, this one's moving, Mitch. Check it out. GNPX and Fun mentioned in the chat. So good mentions there. I'll take a look at some of those right now. Let's see if I can get an ad here on Tesla. The Qs are starting to come right back up. It's starting to look good here. I want to take another ad here. Just trying to wait till it goes right back into that green action here. 5 minutes. You can see it here. We can test down the low right here. I don't want to break that. So I'm looking for this to go green candle, then start going towards the 218s. But Could always come back to it. So I don't want to add too much right now. I'm holding off that 216.30s. Let me lower the volume down a little bit here so you guys can see the chart a little bit closer here. There you guys see it. You can scoot this also. All right, let's see what happens here. Q is just breaking to the upside. That's good signs here. So I'm going to go ahead and step it up here in Tesla, guys. Let's go ahead. I'm stepping up just 100 more there, right there. I'm like really close to my average. I just went to 100 more. Now I need to get back through 217s to really take the shot, guys. So 217s, I'm going to set up here. 217, let's do 217.20s. I'm going to add another 200 shares there in Tesla. And I'm trying to get up to max 600 shares. But let's see what happens here in Tesla. Can I get the breakout to the upside? Here's 217 starting to show. Now we're looking good. Now I need to hit my 217.20s and I'll get the ads. Let's see what happens here. There's the ads already in, guys. So at this point, got to be careful for quick takedowns. And there it is. Quick takedown attempt here. We'll risk about 60 bucks with this right now. Don't want to risk too much early on in the day. It's definitely testing right here. There's a hard pullback there. The Qs are taking off though. I'm staying in this for right now as the Qs take off. 494s, SPY's taking off. That's good move. I see the VXX starting to break down. And if anything, that looks like a good trade there on the smaller account. I'll try to get a VXX short in just a second here. But seeing that action right out the gates, GM going to the upside is what I also see here. It makes me feel a little bit more confident. Look at that, 52.60s. So let's see if Tesla can now make the up move here, back through, and then back through 27.40s. I'll go ahead and I'll take a bigger ad here. I'm risking a little bit more right now, guys. Now it's definitely coming back down here. Not going to let it go through that 216.30s. It's definitely testing me here, guys. There's a test down towards the 47s. Now it's trying to recover here, but the Qs are still strong. Let's see what happens here in Tesla on the 5-minute. Is this just a fake out to the downside? If we get back through 218, we're looking really good to take that next 200 and go maybe 600, 700 shares in Tesla. Let's see what I can do, guys. All right, so that was 217.50s I'm going to add. All right, setting the ad. Now I just got to continue to what? Focus on the risk. Focus on the risk. Watching for the Qs to hold the 9 EMA on pullbacks. I need the SPY to break the high. We made an attempt to the high and we stopped there. So watching also the VIX there, because if the Qs dump, that's a good sign to watch out for reversal. So the only thing green right now is technology. Let's see if technology can just raise the day here. So that's what I'm watching also here, guys. Getting after it, guys. Taking some risk here in the main account. Getting after it here. Let's see what happens. There's Tesla starting to make the move here. I'm going to go to the smaller account and try to get a VXX trade here. All right, guys, short the VXX here in the limited account here. I got to make sure that I risk a okay amount here. I'm going to risk 50 bucks, looking for a big breakdown here and get me nice, like, 100, 200 bucks. Right, I'll put 180 out there on that. We'll see what happens. Tesla making that move there. There we go. Now we're looking good. Now I'm 600 deep, guys. Got to go protect Tesla. Got to focus in here. At this point, break even here, guys. Break even. I'm going to be watching for break even here. Now we're starting to make moves. Now we're almost up 300 here. Watching the action through the 218s. We'll really start to rock and roll here. All right, now I need to look for a potential profit target on the upside here. So back towards 218.60s is where I'll take the profits completely and run. So let's see what happens here. It's coming back on me. Got to watch it here. Definitely not going to let it go red here for any sense here, like at all. It's coming back. Got to let it go in a second here. I'm letting it go. Boom. It stopped me out break even. It's just getting me out there. It can come back to 217s and I can go all back in here with like 200, 400 shares. But that was just attempt to get me out there. Look how I lost $4 there, but I was long 600 shares of Tesla. That's exactly what I want to do. Now I can give myself an opportunity to get back in this if it breaks through this trend line here back on the upside. But this is where it's kind of a wick attempt there to get me out. And I had to hold through that wick there. Now I'm seeing the Qs go higher. This could just break out here. And that could have just been my kind of out there. And that's going to happen sometimes. But I need to be quick on that decision. Break even once I'm full size. Like 600 shares is big business for Tesla. So I'm looking for an undercut below this towards the 217s and recovery here. Can it go to 217s and then right back up? There's this 217 coming back here. Now 217s. Now we're starting to approach that breakdown where I would be red anyways, right? And so at this point, I can go half size in a second here and see if it reverses right back to the upside. SPY coming back up, so that looks good there. I like it here, so I'm going to take 300 right here. Nothing massive, and it needs to come back through 217.50s for me to add that 300 back. Risking about $100 right now. Looking for this to recover back. There we go. Now we're coming back towards the 217s. 217.50s will give me that add. All right, now just focus on the risk. I just put that stop add on there, and that's what it's all about here. Trying to figure out ways to risk, like get big, but at the same time, risk small, right? I could have risked there, tiny amount there, maybe 100, 200 bucks, but there's no need early on in the day for me to do that. So GM now starting to pull back here. So that's one thing I'm noticing, but it did a nice little expansion move up. I do see some tech names bouncing back. SPY coming back there. We'll see if the VIX comes down, crashing through the 52 or not. Looking good on the first action, trying to recover the 217 here in Tesla. You got to be careful for a takedown below that bigger candle on the left-hand side. Attempt down here, back into the 80s. Be careful out there. She's a fast mover. She's a dragon, that Tesla. Was up about 3 something there. Maybe could have put a stop in like the 100 spot. That's also something that I'm just going to continue to address, right? And look back into it. Can't make those decisions now. I got to go ahead and do the hard work after trading to see if maybe that was the better decision there. But the truth is, trying to hold that break even, right? And give myself the shot to make that 800, 900. Like yesterday, it would have turned out great on the VXX, right? So right now, the VXX trying to make a little bit of a spike here. Will we get downside action where the SPY break through the high here and help out the upside action here? That's what I'm seeing right now. But it's all about the SPY now. I think the Qs are really looking pretty decent there because tech is up. Now we're starting to get other sectors into the green. Real estate and defensive. Defensive is an interesting area today. I like the defensive area today for XLP. And if you want to look at that, you're looking at Colgate Palmolive here on the 99, looking pretty decent here, already getting a little bit of a jump. I kind of like this on a swing, especially with the market down the way it is, to start seeing this come back on a daily move here. Off the 98, looks pretty decent there. Just made a nice little spike into the 99s, a little pullback to 99, and it looks decent there in Colgate Palmolive. Getting a hard downside action move in Tesla here, testing me here, guys. So I'm watching it here, see if it starts to work back, but definitely got that test there on the downside. Let's see if we get that 217 recovery here. A lot of action, guys. I'm trying to keep up with all of it for you guys. And this one is definitely a play that I like. The defensive names, the household personal products. Oh, man, I don't think I even got to mention these on Trader TV. There's so many ideas that I had on this morning. And that's how it is, guys. That's how I am every day looking into the market. Households, personal products are definitely an area I'd be watching today. Procter & Gamble up almost a full %. All right, Q's pulling back now. SPY pulling back off the highs here. That's a little bit dangerous here. Let's see what happens in the VIX. Tesla trying to come back and recover for the move. Let's see if it goes for that recovery of 217. And finally, we get the real breakout here. All right, got a rejection for that recovery here. Let's see what happens, guys. It's a battle right now, back and forth. All right, here it comes for that recovery. I'm going to show you guys it in just a second here. I know I'm showing Colgate-Palmolive here. I got you guys. Tesla. Let's see what happens here. 5-minute chart. You can see how it went down there. Tried to wick on the downside. So the pattern is for a breakout above this. It faked out above that, right? So now I'm really looking for this line to hold around the 216.60s. And that's literally where I'm looking at it right now. I'd like to see the attempt to come right back through the 217s. 217.40s will give me that ad and then go through the 218s. Let's see what happens here. It's a big day for Tesla. GM starting to pull back there. The Qs are trying to hold on, a little bit of a pullback here. Can they hold on here? We'll find out. You can see that little pullback underneath the 9 EMA there. The SPY is back at VWAP. That's the concerning one. What's on the downside? Industrials, basic materials, utilities also breaking today. XLU with a big breakdown there. Okay, so I just saw, looks like VIX spiking there, guys. VIX spiking. That's not a good sign there. That's negative sign in the SPY and the Qs. So we'll see what happens if it maybe was just a fake out to the upside there. But I think I got hit on the smaller account there, about 50 bucks. I'll take a look at that in a second here. This is a more important trade to kind of stay with. All right, guys, they're trying to recover Tesla there back up here. We'll see if we can get back through that 217.40s. That's really the level that I want to see start to recover. And then the Qs go right back to the highs here. Tesla could be rocking and rolling today. Let's see what happens here. Starts to push back towards the 217s. We're looking for the move here. Now in the green. Let's go. Let's go. In a second here, I should get my ad. If we get towards the 40s, I'll get my ad. Right now, I'm not adding, guys. The price comes back at me, I will stop, break even. I'm watching off that 217, really. Don't want to see it come back through that 217, watching it off that level here. Now we're starting to try to reload here. The Qs are going to the highs, and so is the SPY. So that's actually looking really good here. The second I'll get an ad and I'll actually move up towards like 217.20s, and I got to be real careful as I do that. Okay, I'm getting really close to my stop, so I'm actually, believe it or not, moving it slightly higher. Why? Because I don't want to get a wick to my stop entry, get that big ad, and all of a sudden the stock comes right back down, because that's not a good like action there, right? And so here I pulled it off of it for a second, pulled it back here, and now I can pull it closer again. As it pulled back there, now it came back closer towards my level. So it's trying to attempt that 217 hit again. All right, now it's going to try to do an attempt reload here. Let's see if it just reloads here. What I mean by a reload is so you could see the bid action, and you're going to see bid, 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 and then you want to see it flip right back to the offer side. So if you're looking at the level 2s, you're looking at that action, right? All right, just got that last attempt through the 217s here, and definitely seeing that down attempt here come in. The Qs rejected that move, so we got to be careful for a washout here in Tesla if it comes down. You're getting that washout attempt. VIX is coming fast, guys. Be careful out there. Washout attempt is coming now. I'm just looking off that 216.60 spot. That was a fake out right there. Now the Tesla's trying to recover here. Let's see if we can get that move on Tesla today, guys. I'm trying to tame the beast that is Tesla. All right, back towards my break even. Looking at the cues, the VIX spike there. That's not a good sign for me, right? It could be a fake out on the VIX, but the VIX is spiking there. That shows weakness. Now will the market show weakness? SPY went down there and then stopped at the 580.85s. A wipeout through 580s. Be careful out there, guys. Qs are down right now, but need to come and recover that 494s, this 493.70 area. I talked about it a little bit earlier on the Qs. It's being pesky. 493.60s to 493.70s. That's where it's acting as a support that it broke as resistance. So that's a good sign there for me in Tesla. But I'm watching both sides of the market and always going to tell you guys how I see it on the bull side and the bear side, because there's always two trades out there, team. Right now I'm seeing fun up GMPX, HIHO, 237. Definitely want to take a look at some of those guys, but this Tesla trade is taking a lot of my mental capital right now. All right, guys, going to cancel my stop for just a second here, just to see if it can start to make the move and all of a sudden make a quick rip here with the Qs going towards the upside. I can see that coming in here. I'm looking to see what's going on, guys. Definitely seeing the VXX still at the top end, but the SPY is making an approach here back towards the high. So we could take the high and then start to get some other sectors going green. I'm seeing right now technologies actually break even. Healthcare is slightly red, and so is energy. So if I'm looking at what can go green here, it's energy, it's technology, and maybe potentially healthcare. Just watching for it, guys. Here's a test down here, guys. Tesla coming right back down. The Qs kind of rejected the move above the 494s, so we could get a takedown attempt here. SPY is definitely getting hit. The VIX is taking, it's trying to push. It's trying to push. Like, there's some traders trading the VIX for sure. But the SPY is still holding the range right now, and if it can keep holding this 50 EMA, it's still looking fine here. I'm still just watching the Qs because Tesla could just all of a sudden make a big rip, and I don't want to miss my ad. All right, we're back towards 217s. I'm putting out my stop ad at the 217.50s here. Just going to continue to watch it. See if we can get this breakout. So you can see on the 15-minute, it's kind of bearish, right? But back through that 218, there's a big resistance there where it can start to climb back towards like 219, right? And then it starts to climb back 220. That's where it could be at kind of later today. So that's where I see right now. And I see these hourly lows kind of holding in here as of late. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fake out on the downside back through the 216 70 spot. Looking for a 218 recovery on that hourly. And that would be a good sign, right? So 218 is a big spot today, guys. We went there to 34s. No ad just yet, but it's coming close to getting my ad here. Let's see what happens. All right, changing it to the 44s now. I might get the ad right here, guys. It just got close. It's going to come and attack my ad. I'm going to move it to 45 right quickly. See if it just goes in for a breakout move here. You see it's pulled off there a little bit there, and I'm glad I'm putting my stop ad a little bit higher, not just trying to add in between the chop. I need it to go in for a breakout move if I'm going to really get that ad of 600 shares. Q's battling right now, battling, guys. Need to put some of these smaller names here on the right-hand side. I'm going to go ahead and do that. GM still holding in there, looking for the break above the 217.40s now. We have the opportunity to. Now the only question is, will we get it? There's the break. There's the ad, guys. Now we got to be really careful. It's going to test me here. It's testing me here. Now I got to be careful. I got to hold towards more VWAP. And now this is when it really gets dangerous, because I could break even out right here, but it's more about the Qs. The Qs just made an attempt for the breakout and now starting to break down here. Not what I want to see. So I got to keep it tight. Let's see if Tesla can just go for the breakout towards the 218s. It caught me there right at the top, which is a little bit scary because it's the wick entry. What I talked about a little bit earlier, when the stop kind of gets attacked and it gets hit. I had my hand out there for the stop. I showed it a little bit, and that was because Tesla moves so fast that, man, sometimes I can't even get my ads. There's a little push there to the 217.40s, looking for the 218 to get taken out here. If it doesn't get taken out, I will be break even on the pullback because that's the takedown on the downside. So I'm just going to let it go here and see if it just breaks out. I needed to get through that 217.60s. It just went to it and stopped there. Q's starting to head to the downside, so be careful. Going to see a little bit of a pullback. I'm setting my stop right now to see if it comes back and gets me. I'm only down 18 on that. And with all this action, I'd be down maybe 20 bucks. So just got to be careful here. It's trying to break out, but if it comes back and gets me, hey, so be it. At this point, it's more about the Qs and the SPY heading down there, the VIX heading up, which is a little bit, against my position. So protection on here. There you go. Got me out. Couldn't it go right back up? Yeah, it could. But guys, down 34 for having two positions on in Tesla at 600 shares. That at any moment could have gone into 218s, 220s. Take a look at the Qs. This is what I was a little bit concerned about. We just pulled back now, and you can see what? 1, 2, 3, and it just went for that fourth high. Now starting to pull back. That's where it gets a little bit concerning, right? Now it makes room for the pullback, and there's only very limited amount in the green, right? And if anything, it's defensive names, not names that should be up, right? So Colgate-Palmolive did pull back to the 99 there and quickly up there to the 99.50. So defensive names, really nice area to look at today. Procter & Gamble, another one that's recovering the 170. Really nice recovery of that 170. We'll look for attempts down below that 170, but nice move there. I was looking for a Roku short, right? We talked about it. It's right there available. Now will the market go red or green? I think that's what you're watching here. Tesla back there. Qs just came back down. Now it's starting to make a spike. Wouldn't you know it, guys? The Qs are trying to make a spike here. So we'll see what happens. I'm watching it here and watching Tesla. I can get back into Tesla. It's right at the 217s again, right? So that's the thing. I can keep playing this game, but at least just making sure that I'm being safe on any downside collapse. Because if you're not, that's how you get wiped out, guys, especially in big size. All right, guys, we'll see what happens there. 217 trying to recover there. The 5-minute went red here. So watching the 1 minute to see what happens here. You can see how we tried the breakout there. The Qs, man, the Qs are what's holding it, and that's the problem here. All right, we'll see if it starts to make an attempt to the breakout there. GM is still doing well, almost 53 now. VXX 52.40s, so like wanting to break, but the Qs are just hanging in here right now. How are we doing out there, traders? Took it easier on Tuesday. There you go. Made that money on Philip Morris. I like the defensive play. Fun and other names out there looking around. Starting to see HIHO recover off that 220s. Maybe it makes an approach to 3 today, but VIX trying to come back there too. Looking around all around the market here. Q's tried to hold that 494s and couldn't do it. SPY is the one that is, man, it's just a rising, ascending triangle and just holding that ascending triangle right now. Here's the Q's going for the move here. I'm going to go for it in Tesla. I just added a little bit there, 300. Going to keep it at 300. We'll look for above the 217.40s again. Let's see if I get back above the 217.40s. It's not doing it. Not doing it. There's 217s. There we go through it. Looking for the 40s for the ad. Just added. Holding towards 217.17s now for risk. That's 102. There's a recovery of 217s. Now we got the move, the first start move. Now the Qs just broke out. So hold on a second. Hold on. The Qs just broke to the upside. SPY just broke to the upside. We're looking good here, baby. Let's go for it. Back in 600 Tesla. VIX going to be coming down if we continue to break out here. Now just need the Tesla to take off here. Going to switch to the limited account and go for another short of the VXX. As long as we continue to break out like we're doing here, we're looking good there. I'm going to go for that VXX trade again. All right, just went for that VXX trade again in the limited account. We'll see what happens on that. Going back to the Tesla now. Looking good, but coming back to my break even. So I'm watching it here. I just want to take off towards 218s. See if Tesla can give us that move now, guys. It's looking good here. Qs are looking good now. Just need Tesla to break here. Look at the Qs, 495. That did a quick push towards 495. So looking for Tesla to really take these highs and then start to really move here. So I just got to be patient here. Don't need to add here. Just need to wait for the move. If I get the move, I got more than enough size here. Now I just need to get the actual breakout on Tesla. Big move is going to be above 217.90s. That will approach the 218 breakout, and that's what I'm looking for here. Let's see if Tesla goes for the move. Can I tame the dragon today? And boy, oh boy, you guys see it. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. All right, here, Q's pushed there, guys, and that actually caused a quick spike there. Now technology almost the leading sector on the upside. I see real estate right there. I see defensive in the green. Communication, cyclical is almost going green here. So that's good area. That's going to be your auto area, right? And we're looking to see if that can go up higher. Of course, we can take a look to see what's green there. Lodging is green there. Auto manufacturers, footwear and accessories. So maybe like Nike doing well. Lodging and gambling. There we go towards 216.70s now. Now we're really starting to move here. Now I just got to take a look for potential profit, right? That could be a move back towards above the 218s. So looking for a nice move above the 218s today. Let's see if we can really rock and roll here with Tesla. All right, just got towards the breakout level. Now pulling back on me, guys. It's a tough one in Tesla, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you guys that one. Looking to see what happens here. Can we get the real breakout through the 218s? Starting to fail now, guys, and it's crazy, but it is. Let's see what happens here. Maybe I'm being a little bit pessimistic, but man, that looked like it had the momentum there. Slowed down a little bit there. Let's go to the one so I can show you guys that. So you can see here how it went up there. It was looking like it wanted to just blow off through the 218s. Not trying to hold the 9 EMA. I'd like to see it start to hold 9 EMA on pullbacks. Maybe slight wicks here, but shouldn't really break down back towards the 217s. That could be a really big breakdown here. So it's a battle both ways right now. Here's that attempt towards the 217s. It's not looking good there as the Qs come right back down, and so does the SPY. But I'm just looking for it to hold 9 EMA on pullbacks as the Qs. The Qs are touching it right now on the 494.70s. Let's see if it can hold here, really make the breakout. $216.90s is more my risk now, guys. I'm looking at that as being my risk. That would still be a hit there, right? You're talking like 282. So at this point, when I'm 600 shares deep, it's hard. It's hard to hold in the risk spot. But I'm just looking at the Qs. The Qs made an attempt breakout. Let's see if they can hold that. It's not a big breakout, right? It was just nice, just wick through towards the gap, right? So we were at least recovering to yesterday's closing action where we were actually starting to push to the upside. So now it's only a question is, can the SPY continue going in my eyes? The Qs are strong. If the SPY can keep going, that looks good for me. It's a tough day, guys. We'll see what happens in the swing trade side of things. We'll see if my deer can hold on. But hey, it's a battle out there, guys. Look for FSX, FCX, of course. You're looking into a little bit of some copper. Okay. What's going on with Roku? Oh, man, I got to focus on Tesla. It's so hard to take my eyes off of a position when they're this big, guys. That's the only problem. And, of course, I'm not trying to get caught with my pants down with 600 shares. So just watching the action here right now. Let's see if we can finally get the action above towards the 218s. The Qs are trying to hold on this 9 EMA, but it's made a couple of wicks here now. So there's an attempt again to break down here, guys. Be careful. Hard down action move here in Tesla. Woo! This is a battle today, guys. The VIX is trying to take off here too. So it is just back and forth, man. And that was a good action there on the upside. Was it a fake out? Only one way to find out. I'm watching the Qs to see if they can hold on the 9 EMA right now. Woo! Just took like a 318 risk there, guys. That's tough. That's tough. But like I've mentioned, guys, the number one thing as I keep going into this high sizing is understanding that we need to be careful when we're high sized, right? How are you doing out there, Jan? It's good to see you in the chat. Right now, the Qs is the only thing that's holding me in this trade because the VIX is looking like it wants to spike. The SPY is looking like it wants to spike. That's a little confusing. We're getting that mixed noise right now. I'll show you guys it on the Qs. You see the 9 EMA, how it keeps recovering, trying to recover here. That's kind of what I'm watching in. And I'm watching the VIX. The VIX looks like it's trying to make a little push, the VXX, right? And then I look at, okay, well, what's going on with SPY? SPY looks like it wants to push right back up here. So, I mean, definitely conflicting noise in the market right now. Let's see what happens, and let's see if we can finally just continue above this 495 and push. There's that 9 EMA recovery attempt with the Qs. I don't want to see it come back towards like the 494.50s there. That's going to put real pressure on me here in Tesla, and I could see a Tesla takedown. It's a tough one today, guys. I'll tell you the truth, guys. This has been hard execution trading right now. I can tell it's taking a lot of my mental focus to stay in the position, to stay focused with it and stay with it, right? Now I come back here and it looks like it wants to break out the Qs. I'll give the Qs an attempt here to see if it wants to break and keep going. Did the market makers put the pressure on the 217 buyers? Yeah, they put the pressure on it. Now I'm looking for the Qs to break through that high, 495.50s. Let's see if we can take it. We're up there to 495.30s. Let's see if the SPY can break the high. The SPY's approaching it. VIX shoots down. That's what I would want to see there. There's it starts to break there. Now I'm looking at Tesla to see if we can go through it and get towards that 218 today. Let's see it, guys. 600 shares of Tesla today. I'll tell you what, these are definitely the biggest position sizes that I have ever had on Tesla. There's only been 600 before once, and I can tell you there's not many times have I gone that deep into Tesla. So let's see what happens here. Can we get a real breakout here above the 218? Looking at the MACD to give me a little bit of a signal here, and you can see how it's trying to cross over. So break through the 218 could definitely give us that crossover. Let's see on the 5-minute or 15-minute, you can see we crossed over right here off of that kind of downward attempt. On the 15-minute, we're still kind of climbing higher. Higher lows is a good trend to see. Now the only question is, will it kind of break back above this 217.50s? Definitely would want to see kind of like the 216.80s start to hold. You're still seeing that kind of trend where you're starting to come back here. You could come back towards the 80s one more time. You're kind of in this kind of ascending triangle back. Just watching the action here to see if Tesla can really make the breakout. It's still not doing it, guys. It's still not doing it. So definitely taking a little bit more risk here than I probably should at this point on this pullback. It should be my out here and then back in at 217.34s on the upside, right? So then I'd get back in near the level that I got in, but I wouldn't have been down right now, potentially 230s or 300. So
That's where, like, I'm trying to explain things and execute at the same time. But I hope you guys enjoy that and me taking the time to do that, because it does pull me a little bit away sometimes. Did you scale in? Yeah, Jan, you can look back. It's crazy. You get 600. Yeah, trade the pool, baby. Jan, that's how you get 600. Very choppy today. Yeah, I think it's choppy, but I think it wants up. I think the down came overnight. Let's see what happens. VIX still pushing there. Not a good sign. VXX now back towards 5230s. Man, it's just chop. The choppy chop continues in October, guys. All right, let's see what happens here. 15-minute candle opened at 217.28. Recovery of that on Tesla is going to be looking good. 15-minute candles now. Forget the 5 minutes. Let's slow it down in our brain and go towards the 15-minute candles. Sometimes you got to slow it down for yourself. Let's look on the hourly, where we're going to run into resistance the next time. Right? So around the 218, let's say 219 spot would be more that level. I'd be looking for us to run into a little bit of resistance. Back to 15-minute green candle. Can we go here? Sound the alarm, because we might just get going here. Traders out there, where's the alarm? Hit that trombone, whatever we need. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da! Tesla, get moving! I don't know if it'll work, guys, but I'll try it. All right, guys, 217.40s. It's trying to make the move. Can't do it here. Let's go. Let's go. Q's rejected right off the top. God dang you, Q's. Spied it too. So looking at it, now it needs to take the 495.50s. It's coming right back towards it, guys. This is a tough day to hold. Tough day to hold, man. All right, 217.44s, 217.60s. Can we approach it and break it? We keep testing. We keep testing here. Can we get the move? Can Tesla break out here? Will the dragon be tamed? Or will she tame me? Oh, man. The story of Tesla. She'll put some, she moves so fast. And then now that I want to get in her, she wants to hang out. We got to be careful. Q's approaching the downside. VIX approaching the upside here. 495s. Oh, it's starting to look ugly. Come on, hold that 495. Hold the 495, Q's. If not, we're going to get this down attempt here. Got to determine where I can risk now and really kind of hold towards it, right? Because it's going to come, if it comes down, it's going to be wicked fast. Here's a down attempt on the Qs. That's 498s, 490s touching. So there's the attempt now on Tesla coming back down. Got to be careful here. It's definitely attempting to wash out here. VIX is going higher, guys. Got to be careful here. The cut down could be coming. SPY's coming down fast here too. So it keeps testing us on the downside. At some point, this could just be a wipeout. We got to be careful here. And that's one thing that I'm really noticing. So, hey, just got to determine where's the max risk you want to take, the max pain you want to take on a trade like this. Know where you can't get caught. That's what I always say. Like what's like the no matter what I'm getting out situation. Always got to know that. Here's a big wick test. Now is a time here on the Qs. If it hard moves to 494.25s here, watch out for the takedown. So both sides right now just trying to battle in, and the VIXY is going up higher. The VIX is going up higher, the VXX. So that's not a good sign for us, but it could whipsaw back, right? And so the same thing's looking at it. There's a little bit of a whipsaw to the downside. Not looking good here. About to drop my stop here, guys. So hard to hold in here. This is that last like kind of 217 approach on the 15-minute candle. After that, it starts to break down here. It's on the breakdown look right now. Got to be careful here, guys. Now it's breaking down here. As the Qs attempt towards the low, we got to be careful here. In a second here, I'm going to be big risk, guys. I got to risk 400 on this, and that's just what it's going to be. Here it is. There's the takedown attempt through my 400 level. Qs are right on the support, so I'm trying to hold through the Qs takedown. But man, the Tesla's putting the pressure on me. Watching it here, watching it. Qs bouncing a little bit off the 494.69. VIXY though, trying to take off 52.50s. Oof. This is a tough day. Q's coming down, guys. It's looking like it's coming right back down, guys. Be careful out there. Boom, just took the hit there, guys. Down 500 in Tesla. Took the battle, guys. I was battling there. I was trying to hold on this 216.60 spot. It went down for it, so I had to get out there. And it could bounce back, but definitely that was a takedown attempt in the Qs. Wicked move there. Wicked move because the Qs are coming up here, but Tesla just never got the move. The move never came in, and it's just a rejection of these highs now as it starts to come back down through that 495. Could have come down to the 494s and kind of reload there, but definitely got caught in that move there. The VXX now shooting up towards 52.50s. That could shoot off a little bit more. Now the Q is trying to recover, of course. That was a wick down attempt there. But man, oh man, took the beating today. And that's going to happen as I keep getting bigger and bigger, right? I gotta keep going. And you guys saw me going back and forth. Which account do I have on Trade the Pool? I have the extra buying power account, right? The extra buying power. So this is a brand new one. I got close in the last one. I got up there towards 4,000, needed to get to 8,000. So just need to keep pushing it. How much are you risking on one 2-minute candle and 50 cents, 300 in just one candle? Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's definitely big, right? I mean, that's just what it is, guys. I'm battling it. And the truth is that if Tesla makes the move there, breaks out 217, 218, what am I making on the upside? I'm making close to 2,000 on the upside. So it's all about risk to return, right? Yes, 500 is a big hit, but in perspective there, could have easily made there $1,000, $2,000, right? And so that's a 2-to-1, potentially to what? 4-to-1, right? So 4 times 500, $2,000, right? 2 times 500, 500. And that's what I'm trying to do here is adjust the risk to return. Sometimes I need to be break even on that spot there. And that's where you saw me cut out 2 times well. On this last one, I would say I held it a little bit too much. As we came back above the 40s there, should have dropped that stop there for like $120 loss there maybe. Then take the hit and can get back in it, right? As you guys saw me get in and out of there with big sizing, that's what I want to do. So that's the good action there. The bad action, I think, there was holding it just a tiny bit there. But you guys are seeing this live, and I'm doing this in front of you guys. So it's the hardest thing probably to do, right? Let's just be honest. But I'm going to keep getting after it, team. I'm not scared of it. I'm going to keep pushing. Can I trade with smaller size? Yes, I've already done that, but that's not going to get me the reward that I'm looking for. I'm trying to get to the point where I can make these evalves like just go right towards the funded in, let's say, 3 weeks, something like that, 3 to 4 weeks. So that's the idea there. And so we'll see what happens here. VXX looking like it wants to jump through. The Q's coming back up. So, hey, can I take the trade in Tesla again? Yes, not today though, right? I don't want to push towards 1,300 in any one day. So today on the main account, just leave it, let it go. Did I try to make the trade there? Yeah, multiple times. Didn't get the trade. That's how it goes sometimes, guys. Can Tesla still come back up? Yeah, it could have been a fake out on that one. But hey, it was really close to giving us that breakout there. If I go back on it on the 1 minute right here, when it was starting to go towards that 217.50 on this pullback, that's where I should have got out, right? Right here. So it looked like that nice little breakout area. It was approaching back towards these highs. And right here, it stopped. That's where it was, where it got me. All right, and you can see Tesla, it's right back up. It could easily make the move because the Qs never broke down, really. It just kind of pulled back fast there and wicked me out, right? So now you could get that break above the 495s, and then all of a sudden Tesla starts making the move, right? So we'll look to see what happens in GM. GM's still holding on. That's doing well there. Ford could kind of get a little bit of a lift on this. Still looking around to see what's going on in the market. Let's go to the limited account, see how that's doing a little bit today. Took a hit, two hits on the VXX on those shorts there. The VXX now trying to go higher through that 5250s. I can still trade on this one. So let's go looking around to see if we can maybe find a different trade. Drugs starting to get a little bit of a spike out there, and this one could go for another move. I think it's pulled back here, but I still don't think it's done. So it's trying to kind of reload. We'll see if it really gets moving and starts to work its way back. Let's go to some of the smaller names. GNPX, that's down big. And I talked about how 4 seemed to be like the blow off top, the fourth move. Yeah, it went right to 4 and kind of failed. Fun. Let's take a look at that one. That one's been a big mover today. I know the chat's been all over it. Let's take a look here. 1 minute. Nice run there to 13. Now starting to pull back, but breaking the 9, right? So it held the 9, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then on the 6th time, it failed, right? Now it's trying to go into a little bit of a pullback. Tried to make a breakout right there. I'd like to short it here around the 12 if I got it. That's where I'd like to get the short. I think it can come back to 11 and probably back to 10. But that's just what I see on fun, right? I don't believe in this stock at all. I think it's more of a kind of a, and I'll be honest. So to me, it's a pump and dump type of stock. That's just what I see it as. But let's see what happens here. It's going to try to approach the 12 and then could turn right back down here. But we have seen these smaller names kind of rip out to the moon, right? HAL is another one that I traded yesterday at the $3 spot there. And it held the $3 spot today, made a move to 350. See if it can keep going. BIVI. How'd that one trade? That one's trading sideways off of this $3 pretty much. 350 move already happened. So that's already done. Let's see if it can really reload off of 3s. If it can't reload off of 3s, it could finally be the breakdown in BIVI. All right, looking around at what else I could trade there. Colgate Palmolive, one that I was watching around the 99. Got up there, pretty good amount. Got up there to the 99.70s. We'll look to see what happens on this one. Still holding the pullback there. These are defensive names. XLP is another way to play this on the pullback right there off the VWAP. Doesn't look too bad on the 15-minute. It held that 81.65 pullback. Could go back to 81.85s. This looks good for kind of swing trade action. Looking around to see what else is making a move here. There's Tesla right back into this space, and so that tells me just to be careful, guys. We could start seeing the financials really crack down here. Wells Fargo was one that I was looking to crack. That's actually been bouncing back, but could start to let go here. It's in a bullish trend. Let's see what happens to this. If it can't break it back to the upside here, it could all of a sudden be a breakdown pattern. So I'm watching for it here. Might be able to short Wells Fargo today. Let's see what happens. Tell you one thing, I want to go back to the main account, and that just tells me more and more. Yeah, just risk too much on that, so I can't go back to it today. Got to take a day away from it, right? Sometimes you're going to do that. And at this point, I just risked a little bit too much on that one trade, and so I just got to take it easy, right? That's what it's about. All right, Tesla could test again. Yeah, I definitely do think. Getting at least a good mention here. Appreciate your risk management and trade management in the trade. Hey, good mention. I love the appreciation there. And that's what I'm trying to do, right? Is try to risk manage, right? Because it's the truth. As you get bigger and bigger size, you want to find a way to risk small and give yourself the opportunity for the stock to break out. Any breakout could give a big win. Right. And so as you get bigger sizing, the idea is not necessarily to just be so focused on the reward side. I'm more focused on the risk management side and how I can go about it. Tesla still in the pre-market range. Yes, I do that too, but sizing looked a lot. Yeah. Hey. That's just how it is sometimes, right? And maybe I got a little bit too big in Tesla there, right? And it didn't break the range, right? I was looking for the range breakout, and maybe the ad was 218 a little bit later today and on the bigger size, right? So being like maybe 100 or 200 size in between all this action. And then finally, when I got the breakout through the 218, adding that extra piece, right? Hey, there's no one way of doing it. And there's not, that's why I won't say that you're wrong in the chat, right? Because the truth is, you could be right. That could have just been a tiny bit too much size there. And of course, stomping me out in between the volatility. All things to work on, right? That's what it's about. All right, let's keep looking here. Wells Fargo low, trying to make the push towards 64.60s here. But if the Qs and the SPY start to drop, this is going to be looking good for a short. All right, let me get this ready here on the smaller account. This is the limited account, so I don't have an insane amount of sizing that I can get after here, but I can definitely start to get after it here if we start to get a takedown. There's the Q starting to break there. The VIXY trying to go higher, so the VXX trying to push. Qualcomm has continued having a good day. If there's one stock that I see out there that's having a good one. Q's just made an up attempt again and now starting to come down here. So the VIX could just start to push here. SPY really starting to give that attempt for the breakdown look. And so the SPY is leading the downside right now. Right in a second here, I just want to add, I want to start short on Wells Fargo. All right, here's that attempt to recovery here on the Qs. I don't have the position right now because I'm seeing that attempt to recovery come in. Let's see if they recover it off the 9 EMA in the Qs, or do they reject it there? Tesla back above the 217s, and there you guys have it. It's starting to make the move here. Could go back into the trade, right? There's no reason why I can't, but at this point, or just risk too much, and that's what happened there. There's a whipsaw for Wells Fargo right back down as we start to get the action here in the Qs, trying to go back up here. So let's see what happens. SPY still pretty weak here. All right, guys, just started the short there a little bit there in Wells Fargo. Want to add to this, but just watching it here to see if it rejects the resistance and starts to break down below the kind of the VWAP, really. So 1, 2, 3 attempts to try to get back above that 64.60s. If it makes this attempt above that, I can get out. So smaller size now, and then I'll look to try to get the big size in a second here. Can only get maybe like 100 more. Yeah, 100 more. Here's an attempt to the upside in the Qs. So just watching to see if it recovers here. The SPY is still pretty weak here. There's that attempt through the 60s here. It's a wick right now, but back through like 65s. Definitely got to get out. You can see here that the next layer on the high and the kind of wicks that you've had in the past have gone right to 63. So looking to see if this comes right back down here and then finally breaks the 64.32 low. There's a Q to the upside now, and that's going to give Tesla an opportunity, but it's a wick here. So just keeping an eye on it. SPY is also doing it here. So it's just back and forth, guys. The chop is continuing out there. And this is difficult trading when you're trading within that chop, right? All right, 65 showing up here in a second here. I'm going to drop my stop at 70. Dropping my stop there, 71. Could get hit here and targeted, but got to keep it small risk with this account. Had a great day yesterday. Don't want to ruin that, right? So that's the idea here. I'm already down about 132, 131. I don't want to push it too much, right? Down 50 and down 70 on the trade. This would be about down 40. There's the Q starting to come back down, and I can start to take a look to see if the SPY comes right back down. It looked like it wanted to break down, and then it found a little bit of a recovery on the SPY, but that's the resistance of this trend line. So we start to reject it here, and I'll take a look at the SPY here for you. So one thing I'm clearly seeing is that if we take a look here on kind of a 15-minute pattern, you can see how we went back up to the 582. We rejected that area. Now we're starting to kind of approach this downward wick area where if it finally breaks down towards, like, let's say 581s, it could be some wash on the downside. So it's trying to hold the VWAP. VWAP's right there on the light red line, which is 581.26 right now. Looking to see if we go back below 581s, that could be a breakdown. And Tesla's still just chopping around the 217. So definitely just a chop zone area, right? So you want to be closer towards the bottom end of the range than the top end of the range. We'll see what happens if you're long, right? So we'll see what happens on that. All right, guys, this hasn't been a bad day at all. Just going to continue to battle. Of course, took the hit in that it took the hit on Tesla, but we'll continue to watch to see what happens in the market. Definitely some chop back and forth here. Taking a look to see that the swing did take that hit in Deer today. So definitely taking the swing in Deer and taking a beating there. We'll see what happens if the Qs actually start to make the up move, or do we get continued downside action? Let's see what do we get. Qs now making a little bit of a downside approach. So we'll take a look at Wells Fargo here. Just moved my stop to 73, guys. Just a couple pennies above the action here. I see the Qs start to the downside. See the SPY start to the downside. So I'm just watching it now. Just trying to approach and stop me out here, but Qs are just bouncing, man. It's so choppy a lot. And this is where we got to be careful, guys. The action, a lot of it's happening overnight. And then the intraday is kind of boring. That tells me that the overnight traders are making the money right now. That tells me that I maybe need to swing more and be careful in the day trading action, at least in the short term, being before the elections. Of course, before the election, we could run into more uncertainty and more chop. So in these next 2 weeks, and we're 2 weeks away from the election, be careful, team. This is a hard time to trade. I will be 1,000% honest with you guys, because you're going to get that choppy action, the elections, right off of this. Choppy chop right now in the Qs. The SPY looking like it wants to start to head to the downside, but we still haven't gotten that breakdown in the SPY. The SPY could start to break down here. Tesla's right back off the low, right? So like right back below 217. So, I mean, this is where it gets really difficult. The GM could be starting to pull back there. Looking around to see what is making a nice move there in the smaller names. I'm not seeing much. Not seeing much. Q's trying to hold in here. SPY coming up here. Will we get the downside? I mean, the SPY is up there, but just chop, man. Just chop. All right, guys. Just going to go ahead and drop the stop here. I want to go looking around, but the Qs are just chopping back and forth. That's where it's hard, right? I don't want to be showing my hand right here, but the truth is it's not much going on, not much trend today, right? And so this is probably going to get me stopped out right here. The Qs start to make an up approach, and then we're going to be more into this chop and continuing the chop, right? At least for the time being. Now, sector-wise, what are we looking like? In the recent hour, we can see that real estate is doing fine in the recent hour. Technology is all right. It's up about 0.12. So not even anything up about 0.5. There's a stop out there, 174 down on that one. We could still take maybe one more trade, but I don't want to push too much. I got to definitely see a nice setup here. And the big thing is the Qs are just staying in this little back and forth chop zone, right? And so you can see here, just staying before this little chop zone. It does make down attempts, but not breakdown attempts right now. And the SPY is right there, right there. If it breaks down through 581s, yeah, you start getting some more negative into the market. XLI really breaking down today. I talked about how industrials could be on the downside. Maybe you should look for a short on those. We'll see what happens on Roku later today. That looked like an interesting play. And could take a look at how far back did Picard go, and look at that. All the way back down towards where I kind of got in, and now you're right back towards the trend line. You were up there towards 111s this morning. So hard hit there in Picard today. Back down. All right, Q's now fighting and starting to pull back. Tesla now back towards 216.70s. It tried to make the move today, just couldn't do it. AMD definitely got wrecked. That was a harder hit there. So we'll see what happens on that. Dell I saw earlier down big, and it's continued down. So there's some bleeding in there in the market today. All right, let's see what else is out there being mentioned. What's going on, team? It's 10:42. We'll be wrapping up in just a little bit here. Not too much. I'll be taking more here. Maybe a smaller name. Maybe we can go after a small one. But looking around, fun. Did it ever get back towards that 12? Let's see. I never got back up towards that 12. It's trying to recover the 9 EMA. Came back towards the VWAP, but not much there. HIHO was looking at this one here and keeping a close eye on it. It did make an approach back towards 3. Hasn't gone back there just yet, but starting to get a little bit interesting here at the 230s. But the volume in this is atrocious. That's the truth, man. The volume is atrocious. So that's the problem there, is that you're not getting the volume needed to make the move. BIVI. I think if this approaches 3 again, it could start to break down here, but it's trying to hold on to the 3. It's trying its best to hold on to 3. It went back towards 302 and it's back towards 312. So you can see it did try to go for the breakout and then kind of failed. I like this attempt here at 325s, then it comes back, then it goes back, and then now it just starts to look like it wants to just fail. So that's the hard part there. See if it goes back to 325s or through the 3 on the downside. Both ways. It's starting to really get into more of a symmetrical pattern and a tighter pattern. So the volatility is tightening, and now we'll look for an expansion. So you see how it tightened down towards like right here, and now it's starting to expand. Let's see if the volatility gets that expansion and gets a move. SPY now trying to break down, but can't right now. We'll see if it starts to break down. The VXX holding the 5230s right now could go right back up through the 5250s and then right back up towards like 53 today. We'll see if we actually start to get some red move here. It could happen at any moment. Q's coming back down, SPY trickling here, but I'm also seeing the financials start to work their way back here. That's one thing I noticed. So it's a little bit of mixed. There's the SPY starting to head to the downside, going towards the 581s. Let's see what happens here. Do I go for a VIX trade on the upside now? Qs are coming down here. Let's see what happens. Looks interesting here, but not much right now. Now SPY trying to recover. It's just chop. It seems like it slows down there. Every time it goes for the momentum move, you just get a pushback. So you got to be careful. Those are attempts like to fake you out, right? And so I'm seeing that often. Like the SPY right there. Like, so you get a wick on the downside. It starts to come looking like it wants to break down, and all of a sudden it's right back up. What is that action? That's going to trap buyers and sellers. To tell you the truth, it traps both sides because it's quick sweeps. So right now you're seeing those quick sweeps off of attempt breakdowns, and that's dangerous. Back to that 581, you start to get more and more breakdown. So I'm watching to see if that wick gets hit here. And that could be more downside action coming in the market today. VXX looking interesting. I'm looking at the hourly pattern. Hourly pattern still kind of holding in for recovery, but it could pull back to 5150s before it actually makes the breakout back up. Right now, it's kind of just hanging in there. Support off the 5190s. All right, on the VWAP right now, 5227s. Let's see if it actually hits 27 and then comes back up here. Q's starting to head down there, but not really a break, but definitely back down towards 494.24s. And you can see Tesla pulling back towards 216.50s. Tesla put in the pressure. It would have got me out if I would have hung on. I'll tell you that much. Q starting to break here, starting to go for the 581s, and so is the SPY here, guys. I'm going to take a shot in the VIX. All right, guys, just took 200 there, looking to take a shot here, guys. So there you guys have it, 200 shares of VXX. We'll be adding to the VXX here, but just looking to see that the action continues there. There's more leak in the SPY. There's more leak in the Qs. Can the SPY break the 581s? That's really where I want to take a little bit more. So I'm looking for quick pullbacks here to add below my entry here, or maybe at the 5260 for the breakout here. Tesla heading down there to 216.20s now, so definitely putting the pressure. Will the SPY just come back ramping? That's one thing I'm looking at to see just in case. There's 581s approaching here. And of course, as soon as you get to that 581, what happens? Slow down. So more and more, the algo's running the show right now, guys. And that's where you got to be careful. Because when the algos run the show, I'll tell you one thing. They stuff it to both sides. So be careful out there, traders. Look how the SPY just approaches that 581, and as soon as it gets there, it slows down. Right? That's an important level. All of us are looking at that in the technicals. So definitely a lot of chop off of that right there. So you can see how right there, 58 level now recovering back above the trend line there. Fake outs to the downside is what I'm seeing right now. Now can it really break down? It could. It's just trying to trick traders on both sides. So then this makes the bullish trade look good. And just a second ago, the bearish trade looked good, right? So back and forth action there. All right, what's going on out there, guys? Do you use fib retracements? Yes, fib retracements are awesome. I don't put them on the screen often, but I do. Like, let's say like for like my swing on BABA. So I liked BABA today, guys, and oh my God, I missed BABA. BABA was the move, the China recovery trade. Oh man, I'm missing this trade. How do I get after it? Got to do an ad. All right, so I got to do an ad approach here. I want to get into BABA here no matter what. So at this point, I'm just looking for a ladder approach. How can I get in it and how can I add? I'm going to try to get in with like about, I can maybe do 200 shares of this. So I'll do 50 here. 50 here, and I'm going to do 50 at 101 and 50 at 150. So I'm looking for some pullback on BABA, but just wanted it, man. It was a part of my trade plan today, and I just didn't take it. And this was a really nice setup off the 100. Really nice setup. I'm looking for China to come back, guys. So, hey, what's up out there? Can you trade gold? Can you trade gold using your platform? Like the actual gold futures? No, but you can trade GOLD. You can trade GLD, right? That's gonna be looking more at gold. You can trade AU, which I like. That one trends. And when it gets moving, it moves. Look at AU. That's what I mean by when it trends, it trends. This thing, when it moves, it moves. AU, interesting. All right, guys, going back to it, and there it is. Just as you start to see the SPY break to the 581s, what do you see? A bounce right off of that. So, I mean, back and forth, guys. Back and forth. This is just chopping. Look at this pattern. Bearish, bearish, bullish, bullish, then goes towards a bearish pattern on the 1 minute. It's just trying to stop out traders left and right now. So you got to be careful. You can definitely get caught. All right, going back to the VXX. VXX pulling back to the 53.30s here. We'll see if the SPY just takes off here. The SPY is what's strong right now. So Tesla off to 216.40s, trying to recover there. Man, the chop on the market. Now the SPY is starting to come back, and that's just how it goes sometimes. So that 581 held pretty well now. Now you're getting reversal off of that. So about to get cut out here, guys. I'm going to get cut out here at the 40 spot here, more than likely on VXX. So it'll be about 40 out on this, and I'll be done for the day in the limited. There it is, 218. Out 43, definitely done for the day. It looks like it's coming on the downside. Looks like you're finally getting the upside action, but boy, oh boy, was it a choppy day now. And watch, Tesla could still recover on that chop 15-minute candle that broke down and could recover, right? So I'll be watching to see what happens. BABA is definitely one that I'll look for the strength. Chinese stocks, JD, I talked about it on Trader TV today about looking for the 50% retracements in these names. BABA was one of those names. Look at the daily chart. Look at it right there. 50% retracement right here around the 9900 spot, right? 130 spot. And now we're starting to get that recovery. Good move there. And if you took the shot there in BABA, we'll see what happens. Definitely want to add to it, but took 50 shares. We'll see if it can continue to kind of pull back. I definitely want to get some more in some of these. PDD is another one, right? PDD back down towards like kind of the 125, and look at PDD today. So China trade, not a bad mention there on Trader TV. Guys, do me the favor. Go over and check out my segment on Trader TV. How can you find this? Well, you guys can always take a look into my Twitter. I'm always going to give you guys links and things like that. But I'm going to go ahead and try to get you guys a link right now that you guys can go ahead and take a look into my appearance on, of course, Trader TV this morning. So next time you guys can, of course, tune in and catch me right there, guys. So it was on this morning. I'll try to give you guys a timestamp on my Twitter, but here's the link, guys. Do me the favor, guys. Go click that link. Go check it out. Definitely rewind and see where you guys see Money Mitch there. Throw in some comments every now and then. Let them know Money Mitch is always going to be coming after them. And I always love when my team kind of helps me out with that, guys. So definitely you guys can hit their comments. Let them know. Bring back Money Mitch. But let me see if I can get the timing for you guys really quickly here on when I hopped on. And almost to it. Let's see it. Oh, I just saw myself. There we go. It's at the 205.50 spot, guys. So 20. Let's see. Let's see where I can find the right spot there. All right, so 204, 205. Yeah. So go back down towards negative 205. So that will get you guys right to my spot. I want you guys to check that out. Definitely hit that, guys. You guys can see it here. I'll throw it on the screen at least so you guys can see it, guys. Money Mitch out there taking over, talking on Trader TV. So I want you guys over there to go support them. Also, check it out, guys. Really good information. Talked about, of course, the China trade. We'll see what happens out there. Let's get after it, guys, and we'll see what else is out there in the trading action. Now the Qs are making the upside approach there. Look how the SPY just changed, guys. Now breakout to the upside. Wouldn't you know it, guys? So now it makes sense to kind of go short into VXX. I'm probably going to take it a little bit easy today. We'll see what happens. The SPY is still a little choppy, though. It gets right up to the top and it stops there. So just be careful out there, guys. Look at that action right there, and it stops. So definitely the chop, but hey, we'll see what happens in the market there. Zim having another good day there, guys. We'll see what happens in the shippers. Those continue to be strong. Fun. Whatever happened to fun? Well, it's starting to come back down there. It did make that 12 attempt and then cut down. That was where the kind of the short attempt there would have been for me. We'll see what happens on that. Talked about how the nuclear trade could pull back on Trader TV, and there it is, pulling back right now. I feel like SMR and NNE are due for a little bit of a pullback, and then we'll look to see if we can get it back down there towards like 1260s. This could be a nice swing trade overnight, as this could keep breaking down towards 16 and 14s. We'll see what happens in SMR. I would like to swing it short maybe around the 18s today. We'll see what happens on that level. I'll send an alert. Time to wrap it up, guys. It's 10:56. I'm going to go ahead and head out of here. There's not much for me, but I'll be back tomorrow, guys. And those traders from Trader TV are from another prop firm. Yeah. The truth is that there's plenty of opportunities out there, guys. We don't hide things, and we try to just keep it real with you guys, and that's what it's all about, right? You guys see the opportunities right here. Yeah, they have a prop firm. I think it's in Canada. So if you want to go to Canada, by all means, go ahead, right? Check it out, right? But like always, guys, what we're trying to do here is give you guys resources, information, keep you guys in the know. I hope you guys enjoy my stream right here, of course, on Trade the Pool. Going to keep getting after it. Today, a little bit of a tougher day. Yesterday, I had a really good day in the limited account. That's how it's going to go. It's going to go back and forth. You got to be able to take the hits, and then you got to be able to hit back. That's what we're all about here. Trade the Pool, guys. It's always about who's getting out of the pool. Today, I got out of the pool. But hey, it wasn't a good day in that action. And what happens now is I'm out of the pool, right? I'm not trading anymore. And now we can get trend moves. That's why sometimes patience is what's going to pay in the market. Of course, I can't trade all day. I trade more the morning block and then take a block where I have to go and be with my family. But like always, guys, I hope you guys appreciate me coming in here every single morning, prepared and ready to kick some ass. We'll see you guys back tomorrow. Smash the like on your way out.